What's up, guys? Today we're gonna be reacting to Zack D films. Yeah!
Alright, sorry. Let's just start.
Alright, this is first clip.
Steal the dog and take it home with him. But this wasn't just a random pet. You see, he did his research beforehand, hanging out in dog parks and looking for emotional
Who's
owners.
he looking for?
You know, the ones who loved their pets as if they were kids. Would follow them home, stake out the house, and take their dogs. Soon, the lost dog posters would appear. And when he offered his help,
With the dress with it.
Always same dress. Look all the
when
money.
he finally staged the reunion, he would live stream it, and it was always a hit. Hundreds of thousands tuned in live, and soon his videos sponsors. That's because he had a knack for finding the best targets, like Ernie, an elderly veteran with PTSD, and a support dog as his only companion. After stealing his dog, he streamed himself pretending to find him, and teased a dramatic live stream of the reunion when he would return the animal. But when he stepped inside the veteran's house, the dog stopped dead in its tracks and started whining. He shrugged it off with a smile. There were thousands of viewers watching. With a sharp tug, he managed to get the dog moving until he got to the kitchen and found the man on the floor, dead. Panicked, he fumbled with the record button, desperate to shut off the stream. "This wasn't supposed to happen," he whispered. "I just steal them. I give them back. I'm not a killer." But the stream never actually stopped, and his followers heard everything. He would steal the dog and take it home with him. This wasn't just a random. If you drive 10 miles over the speed limit because you're late, you probably think that you're saving time. But at 70 miles per hour, it takes 51 seconds to drive a mile. And if you go 80, it takes 45 seconds, meaning you're only saving 6 seconds per mile. Now, you'll also catch up to slower cars faster, which means you'll tap the brakes more. You'll also switch lanes, and you'll have to be more cautious overall. And these tiny slowdowns add up and can easily wipe out those few seconds you saved almost instantly.
Oh, wait,
that's actually crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah, I did not know that.
By the way, I learned here more than in that Zack D film. In school, like from Zack D films, I learn more than in school. That's just crazy.
Drive 10 miles.
Wait, I don't want to see those
Artemis
cars.
2 tried to fly straight to the moon, Earth's gravity would keep pulling it back down. To escape this, the rocket would need massive engines with tons of fuel, which would cost way too much money. So instead, the rocket will launch upwards before tipping horizontally. Earth's gravity pulls it inwards, swinging the rocket in a circular path.
Smart!
Now, bro, you've seen those videos
around
before.
Earth until it can escape its pull. Then, with a push, it finally flies to the moon.
Yeah!
Oh, that's crazy though, bro. I didn't know the Earth.
Bro, they don't really see us finally. Then now they see us. They all the time see your I speaking out like this. They never see me. Wait. I need to be on
glass
video.
beads are attached to the fabric, which celebrities wear as scarves.
Whoa,
It
what is
looks
this?
like a regular
Hey,
accessory.
yeah,
but as
we
someone
might
takes
just skip this one.
A rich lawyer died, and in his will, he promised to give away his money to one woman in his city. But there was a catch. She had to have more kids than anyone else. So the women started having babies as fast as possible, and some were pregnant every year of the contest. When the 10 years were up, 4 women had each given birth to 9 babies, meaning they were all tied for the winner. After months of court fights, the money was split between all the women. A rich lawyer in the small country of Vietnam won the war against the U.S. Now, the U.S. had more troops, more firepower, more technology than Vietnam could ever ever match.
What
so how
the?
did they do this? Well, they used their dense jungle as cover, moving through tunnel systems that stretched for miles underground. They set booby traps along paths and ambushed patrols before vanishing back into the jungle. When the Americans bombed from above, the Viet Cong moved deeper into the forest. You see, the U.S. tactics were designed for open war, not an enemy hiding in the jungle. North Vietnam won by fighting smarter, not bigger. The small country.
That's crazy. If you think about it, that the U.S. is really strong, but Vietnam just easily clapped it with playing smarter, not bigger. That's crazy.
Is jouw terras al klaar voor de lente?
What is that language?
There was no time to stop. It was dead, and the man loaded it into his car for the fur and the meat.
You saw that? You saw that? Look at the bear.
And the meat. But he drove to a steakhouse for dinner and then needed to catch a flight. He couldn't leave the bear in his car, so he thought it would be funny to drag it into Central Park and lay it next to an old bicycle. The next morning, a woman walking her dog found it. Now, police confirmed it had been hit by a car, but the case went cold for years until a journalist confronted him, and RFK called it a prank gone wrong. Bear stepped into the road as the car approached. There was no time to stop. It was dead. And she folded the paper crane in her hospital bed, her hand shaking as she added it to the growing pile beside her. You see, 10 years earlier, she had survived the bombing of Hiroshima. But now, the sickness from the radiation was slowly taking over her body. Her friends told her an old legend. If you fold 1,000 paper cranes, the gods grant you a wish. She decided to make the cranes and wish to live. So every day, as she grew weaker, she kept folding. Cranes covered her bedside table, then the windowsill, then the chair next to her.
You're saying we're definitely gonna make that for the gods, right?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that.
We're definitely believing our friends, right? We're definitely.
Yeah,
not like they did it.
We're definitely gonna get weaker and weaker by folding it all the day, bro.
Yeah.
You can literally do that in one day, 1,000 only.
1,000 plus 300 more. But her wish didn't come true, and she passed away at just 12
bro,
years
that's
old.
because of these stupid friends, maybe.
In her honor, a girl holding a crane toward the sky. And soon, children around the world began folding paper cranes too, sending them to be placed beneath her statue.
I can't even do that.
The paper crane.
Yeah.
Imagine
They did all the work for
that. And its only job is to spot danger and sound the alarm. Now, if the sensitivity dial is set normally, it only rings for real smoke. But if the dial is turned up, the alarm is too sensitive, and it goes off for almost anything, causing you to feel danger. And if you panic when this happens and try to escape the feeling, well, you're essentially turning up that sensitivity dial. And this cycle gets stronger and stronger over time. But if you just let it ring and you don't react to it like it's an actual emergency, over time, that sensitivity dial will turn back down. The cycle will be broken and your anxiety will subside.
Alright,
if you keep
we'll definitely put it
the
in our
circumference of a circle
in our
into
head. We'll
lines
definitely do
and
it
stack
now.
them until the circle disappears, the layers will eventually create a triangle with a base as wide as the original circumference and a height as tall as the radius. Now, this is because the area of a triangle is half of the base multiplied by the height. So that becomes 1/2 times the circumference times the radius, showing that the area of the circle matches the area of the triangle.
Who is this guy? Is this guy Albert Einstein?
Yeah, how does he know all this?
They took a tissue sample from the dog and sent it to a lab where the DNA was taken out. Then they injected it into an empty egg cell, which was placed inside a
something with the
female
sheep, I
dog.
think.
You see, the man's dog was from a super rare
Yeah,
breed.
sheepdog.
Now that she was getting old, he knew it would be hard to find a replacement. So he decided to clone her. And when the puppy was born,
Cloning.
she looked like an exact copy of his first dog. But even though her personality turned out completely different, the man loved her just the same.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Happy
good.
ending. I thought he was not gonna like her. Alright.
Wait, look at their battery, guys.
Hey, yeah! Bruh.
Slice the cactus leaf off the plant and grab it with
I'm not
tongs
eating
to
that,
avoid
buddy.
the spikes.
Yeah.
Next, scrape it clean with a knife. Cut off the edges and base, then rinse it in water to remove the spikes you missed.
It
Pat
wasn't there
completely
before,
dry
though.
And coat it in oil and salt, then place it in a pan and press it down to fry. Once it's brown on both sides, put the cactus on a tortilla, add meat,
Tortilla.
sour cream, and herbs, and enjoy your cactus taco.
That actually looks
Slice the
good.
cactus leaf.
I don't think I
Why's your phone
want
so
that.
high?
You checked out every book from every
you
library
turn into
in the
Jack
world
GPT.
and scanned them, and then downloaded every single web page on the internet.
Look
you
how
could
much
delete
that is.
anything that appears more than once and take
So I'm
out
not gonna
any
do
errors.
so much work.
And you
I
could
just
feed
rather
what's
watch
left into a
Zack
computer
video.
program.
Just watch it
This
already,
program
bruh.
would read all that information, breaking it down into smaller pieces like letters and words. Next, it builds a map of these pieces, making
Look how
billions
big
of
that is.
connections between them to see which ones appear together most often. By measuring the strength of these connections, it would learn how human language works. So, when you give it the first word in a sentence, it could guess what should come next. Each time it got a word wrong, it would be corrected millions and millions of times. And when it was good enough at guessing the next word, you could ask it to write its own texts, correcting it every time it made a mistake until it finally gave you words that sounded
Alright,
just
bruh.
like a human. You checked out, he pointed the revolver
No,
straight at the
doggy!
puppy, aiming right at the dog's head. You see, he had tried to give them away, but he couldn't find anyone to take them. Now, one was tucked into his arm,
Twice he gave
while the
them
other
away.
squirmed in his left hand. But as the puppy tried to escape, its paw slipped onto the trigger. The gun fired instantly,
dog
shooting him
shot him.
through the wrist.
What?
He survived, but was charged with animal cruelty after he confessed to the police. And the puppy that shot him was named Trigger and adopted by a
He
family.
triggered it.
That's a good name. That's a good name. GG.
Which gun is that?
What
Is
the
that a
hell?
revolver?
He pointed the revolver.
Yeah, it is.
If you start
I didn't
in the
notice.
middle square
Oh,
and
I
your
already
opponent
noticed.
chooses a corner,
I'm really good
you'll
at
both
that.
keep trying to block each other's moves, which will always end in a draw.
Yeah, I
But
know.
if they choose a side square instead,
One.
you can make your next move above or below your
Yep.
first mark.
Do it below.
And even if your opponent blocks one
Yep.
winning line,
You still have
can
one.
use the corner square to
Yep.
create a second
Yep.
option.
Don't
So
do like
once
you
they
know
block
it.
that
I
line,
know this.
you can still win
And
the
boom.
game with your next move.
You already watched this.
They injected Botox
Yeah, I watched all
into
of
the
it.
camel's
Yo,
lips
Camel.
to plump them up
Camel,
before
yo,
making its
juicy,
muscles
bro.
bigger with
Yo, how did that
hormones
work?
and using filler
Hormones?
for a relaxed expression.
he's definitely
Then
gonna
the
get
camels were entered into a beauty contest
$1
with a chance
million!
to win millions of dollars. But the officials got
Million?
suspicious, and when they used X-rays to check for cheating, they found more than 40 camels with work done, and they were all disqualified. He
GG
injected
to that
Botox.
camel. GG to that.
Oh.
Place over
That was the
3,000
extra way
people
that you
in
do
a
it.
single line to form the base. Then stack another slightly smaller layer on top, and if you repeat this step more than 3,000
Do not do
times,
that.
you would have a stable triangle made from over 5.5
Yeah,
million
we're-
people. And the person on top
Will sure hire 5 million people to stand in a triangle? What am I saying? Triangle.
We're definitely gonna try and get on the top from the Khalifa.
would be just tall enough to touch the Burj Khalifa's
Burj
roof.
Khalifa.
But the wind up there can be extremely strong,
Bye.
meaning the triangle probably wouldn't last very long.
Look how much.
Look at him! Oh my god.
Look
that's
at
crazy.
him.
Speeding car smashed right into the tree, breaking his neck and back and putting him into a coma. As well, girlfriend. But 3 months later, he woke up and he told police his girlfriend had been mad that day. As she drove, she started yelling at him, getting angrier and angrier until she finally snapped and swerved into the tree on purpose. Now, the woman was arrested, but the man got sick in the hospital and tragically died before ever meeting.
Why is it not a good story? I always need to be dead, like...
Yeah, bro, I'm choking that girl until she's dead, bro.
Look at that baby, it's looking funny.
No
Add
ads
a
up,
few
sorry
extra
guys.
scoops so the coffee is strong. Then separate the yolk from the egg white like this. Plop it into a mug and add a teaspoon of sugar. Now beat the yolk and sugar together until it's thick and frothy, like a golden cream. Then pour the hot coffee right in and stir. You see, the heat from the coffee gently cooks the egg yolk, while the sugar balances out the richness. Add in a splash of milk, give it a stir, and enjoy your coffee and an egg.
Yeah, we'll definitely way so much in one coffee. Yeah.
And this was it for reacting to Zack D Films. Peace, we're out. Peace.